It is Wednesday, March 6th, and the Splash Zone is back in your life. I'm Matt Modi, and I'm here to give you my 4 favorite NBA player props for tonight's NBA betting slate. We ended up having a pretty decent slate of games today, I believe 8 total, and I found 4 picks that I really liked. Now, before I can give you today's picks, I do have to do a recap from yesterday, which was unfortunately not one of our good days. If you follow the YouTube channel, I gave out 3 picks. I only got 1 of those 3 to cash. The 2 that lost were pretty brutal. I had Dante DiVincenzo making 6+ 3-pointers. He shot 5 of 17. If you're telling me he was going to take 17 3-pointers, I would have liked the fact that he was going to make 6. Unfortunately, he did not, obviously. Then I had Emmanuel quickly over 7.5 assists. He ended with exactly 7, and because of the game being a blowout, he did not play the last 7 minutes of the fourth quarter. You figure he would have gotten 1 assist in the last 7 minutes. But bad beats, whatever it may be, they'll still go down as L's. And then I also gave out an additional 2 picks on my Dub Club and on Twitter as well. Those also did not cash. So overall, yesterday, I only got 1 of my 5 plays to cash. Another brutal beat with the CJ McCollum 3-pointers. I had him making 4+. He went 3 of 9. He did not play the entire fourth quarter. And Trey Murphy made 10 3-pointers, and Herb Jones made 5. So I correctly called that the Pelicans were going to make a ton of 3-pointers, just the wrong player. Then I had Kyrie Irving over his points, and that one didn't even come close. No bad beat there, just a wrong read, bad game all around. So yesterday was not our day. Let's hope to turn it around today. Luckily, we're still having crazy success on the entire season. We are up 57.51 units on our mainline plays. Now, I didn't have any ladder plays yesterday, so 0 for 0 there. But on the season, on ladder plays specifically, which I started tracking on February 24th, we are up 3.08 units. I knew a cold spell was going to come because we were on fire. We had 3 straight profitable days, and I think 4 of 5 as well, if I remember correctly. Only natural to have a down day. That happens. But let's hope we don't make it 2 in a row. I'm very confident in the picks we have today. So make sure to like the video, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. And let's get into today's picks. Let's see if we can get wet. The first play that we're going to go ahead and lock in here. This is in the Kings versus Lakers game. I'm taking DeAaron Fox over 25.5 points. Best offered at -115 odds at DraftKings. So this is new, but one source that I've been starting to use recently is Unabated, and I've been specifically using their market-based projections. If you're unfamiliar with Unabated, I would recommend checking them out. This is a brand new tool, so I'm still trying to kind of play around and see how things work. But I respect the company a lot, and I respect their projections as well. I just need to see if, the actual betting advice is good. But like I said, I've been using their market-based projections, and they project De'Aaron Fox to score about 27 points, just below 27 points. So this is a positive EV play according to Unabated. Now, looking at the play itself, Fox returned from missing a couple days off. He missed about a week last game against the Bulls. And while he did go under his point total, he only scored 20 points. He played 38 minutes. So there's no concerns about playing time or any negative or different effects from the injury, anything like that. He's going to play a lot. And prior to that game against the Bulls, De'Aaron Fox had been absolutely on fire. He had gone over 25.5 points in 5 straight games. So just because he missed it in his first day back from an injury, I'm definitely not scared off. And this is a situation where we are targeting a very juicy matchup for how De'Aaron Fox scores and how the Lakers give up points on defense. Since February 1st, the Lakers are giving up literally the most pull-up field goal attempts in the entire NBA. And that's an area on the floor in which De'Aaron Fox thrives. He's turned himself into a pretty good pull-up shooter. Since his hot streak started in the last 2 weeks or so, he's averaging the most made and attempted pull-up field goals on the Kings by a mile. Not even close. He also leads the Kings in mid-range attempts as well. And in that same time frame, since February 1st, the Lakers are giving up both the most made and attempted mid-range jumpers in the entire NBA. Their offense has been playing well. The Lakers defense has really just fallen apart recently. And just look at what pull-up jump shooters have done against the Lakers recently, right? Jamal Murray cashed his over. He scored 24 points on an over-under of 21.5. Guess what? We were on that over. We cashed that. Prior to that, Jordan Poole, of all people, scored 34 points against the Lakers. And then James Harden, when they played the Clippers, he went over his point total prop. And De'Aaron Fox, he's just crushed the Lakers in his career. He's cashed this over in 5 of his last 6 games against the Lakers. And that includes both games against the Lakers this season, which he has scored 37 and 28 points. So I absolutely love De'Aaron Fox. I love this play. Our first one. Next up, Magic versus Wizards game. I'm taking Franz Wagner over 18.5 points, minus 115 odds. This one's also at DraftKings. So our first two plays, it's not a typo. They're both minus 115 odds at DraftKings. And this is actually another positive expected value play via unabated. They project Franz to score over 20 points in this one. So if you wanted to, you could pump him up to 20 plus as opposed to over 18.5. I didn't think the value was good enough, so I just decided to stick with the over 18.5. But regardless, this is another play that I absolutely love. And this is a perfect fate of recent results type of play. I have to admit, Franz Wagner has been very cold recently. He's gone under this number in 3 straight games, and he's gone under in 6 of 10 games as well. Last game, he only scored 8 points. So I'm going to go ahead and label this the Pepto play of the day. Take a shot of Pepto when you're placing this bet, because it's going to make your stomach feel a little bit queasy, but it's a really good play. And the reason why we are on it is kind of similar to the DeAaron Fox play, but it's all because of the matchup, right? Where the Wizards defense is the weakest is around the rim, in the paint, in the restricted area. That's exactly where Franz scores. Since February 1st, the Wizards are giving up literally the most points per game in the restricted area by a mile. They're like not even close in terms of how many points they're giving up in the restricted area versus the next closest team. And they're giving up the 4th most points specifically in the paint, but not in the restricted area. Look at where Franz Wagner scores for the Magic. He averages the most points in restricted area on the Magic by far. The most points in the restricted area by a mile. And then he's tied for the most made field goals that are in the paint, but not in the restricted area as well. The Wizards just cannot guard guys that can penetrate into the defense and get into the rim and get into the paint. And that's exactly what Franz does for the Magic. Comes as no surprise that Courtside Pal lists the Wizards as literally giving up the most points per game, both of Franz's shooting and his scoring a profile, which makes sense. Guys that score in the paint, yeah, that's going to be a good matchup against the Wizards. And Franz has cashed this over against the Wizards in each of his last 6 games. That includes all 3 this year, in which he scored 31, 31, and 28 points against the Wizards. So it's a perfect opportunity for Franz to have a bounce back game, cash this banger for us. Next up, Bulls versus Jazz. I'm taking Kobe White, 4+ made 3-pointers, plus 130 odds at Bet365. Now we're getting into the plus money bangers, the real juicy props. And the Jazz defense, they're a defense that we've targeted for opposing teams' 3-point props all year. Pretty consistently come through for us. Now, Unabated doesn't have projections out yet for 3-pointers, so that's why you don't hear me mentioning them. But as for the matchup against the Jazz, as I mentioned, one of the best defenses you want to target for 3-point props. Kobe White specifically is the play here for the Bulls against the Jazz. He's basically the only guy on the Bulls that even shoots. He both takes and makes the most catch and shoot 3-pointers on the Bulls and the most above the break 3-pointers as well. Those are the 2 areas in which the Jazz defense is weakest. Since February 1st, the Jazz are allowing the most made catch and shoot 3-pointers in the NBA, and they're allowing the most made above the break 3-pointers as well. So Kobe White takes and makes the most catch and shoot and above the break. Since February 1st, the Jazz are giving up the most made in both of those categories. And as I mentioned, he's basically the only guy in the Bulls who really shoots at a high volume. Since February 1st, he has attempted the most total 3-pointers on the Bulls by far, and he averages the most 3-point attempts per 36 minutes as well. So even the guys that play limited minutes and that chuck up threes, Kobe White plays heavy minutes and he still chucks up more threes than them. And I just love the way that he'll fire away. I just love the fact that he'll fire away in a good matchup, right? Last game against the Kings, he attempted 9 3-pointers and he made 5 of them. Couple games before that, he attempted a whopping 13 3-pointers. Now he only made 2 of them, but I still love those attempts. Last time he played the Jazz, he went 4 of 6 from deep, and that was in a game in which he played fewer than 30 minutes. And if you look at his last 10 games, his playing time, he has yet to play fewer than 33 minutes in any of his last 10 games. So I expect him to continue to fire away in this one. I would be shocked if he didn't get up another 10 plus 3-point attempts. And let's just hope that we don't get burned by cold shooting like we did last night. I can't tell you if a guy's going to be hot or not, but I at least can bet on or can count on him getting the attempts up, which I think with Kobe White. I keep saying Derek White. Kobe White. That's our third play. Last up, fourth and final pick of the evening, Cavs versus Hawks game. Darius Garland, 4+ made 3-pointers, plus 150 odds at Bet365. So another 3-point prop, another very juicy play here. With the Cavs banged up recently, Darius Garland has been shooting the ball like a madman. He's kind of similar to Kobe White, just been firing away from deep. In Darius Garland's last 4 games, he has made a combined 23 3-pointers. Literally 23 made in his last 4 games. That's a crazy number. And the reason why he's been able to do that is because he has attempted a crazy 42 3-pointers in this 4-game stretch as well. Now, last game he made 3-pointers, or excuse me, he made 3 3-pointers, but he didn't shoot that great. So I kind of like the fact that we're getting him off of a cold game after he had just been on fire recently. And what's been the common denominator in these last 4 games in which he's been blowing up? Donovan Mitchell has been hurt. Now, Mitchell did play 4 games ago, but that was when he got hurt, and then he has missed the next 3 games. That's when Darius Garland started firing away from deep. And kind of similar to Kobe White, the areas in which Darius Garland shoots, that is where the Hawks defense is weakest. Since February 1st, the Hawks are giving up the most above the break 3-point attempts in the entire NBA, with the 3rd most made. So the Jazz are giving up the most made. The Hawks are giving up the most attempts and the 3rd most made. And if you look at that same time frame, since February 1st, the Hawks are allowing the 4th most made and attempted pull-up 3-point attempts in the NBA as well. As the lead ball handler for the Cavs with Mitchell out, that's where Darius Garland has been shooting. Again, I know it's a little bit of a smaller sample size, but just look at the stats since Mitchell went down, so the past 4 games. Garland is not only averaging the most above the break threes on the Cavs, he's actually attempting the 9th most in the entire NBA. So not only the most on the Cavs, but top 10 in the entire NBA is a pretty good number. In that same time frame, he's still taking the most pull-up 3-point attempts for the Cavaliers as well. He's actually attempting the 2nd most pull-up attempts in the NBA, only behind Luka Doncic. He's also attempting 4 catch-and-shoot 3-pointers a game for good measure as well. That's another area in which the Hawks are weakest, or weak, I should say, not weakest, but another area in which the Hawks are weak. And that's not even mentioning the fact that Evan Mobley's out for this game, so just another option taken away for the Cavs, another lob threat taken away for Darius Garland, so hopefully more shooting. And Max Strus is questionable for this game as well. So I love Darius Garland to have a good game, rounding out our 4th and final pick of the evening. And that's all we got. 4 bangers for you guys to lock in. Make sure to like the video, comment, subscribe. All that good stuff does help me out a ton. And then the last thing I'll mention, I mention it at the end of every video, is I do have a dub club where I send picks out. It's only $5 a month. And basically the way it works is the picks you see for free on YouTube or on Twitter, you can get early on Dub Club for $5 a month. So if you don't want to watch the YouTube videos, or sometimes you don't have time to watch the YouTube videos, that's kind of where I have the Dub Club come in for people that like the picks, don't care about the YouTube or the analysis. Or if you just watch the YouTube videos and you get frustrated because the odds change before you can lock them in, that's another reason why I have the Dub Club. So people can get them to get my plays texted to them immediately as soon as I lock them in, so the odds don't change on you by the time you watch the YouTube video. Unfortunately, sometimes that happens. So whether you want the Dub Club for $5 a month or whether you just would rather get it for free on YouTube and on Twitter, totally fine with me. Either option is cool. And that's all we got. So I appreciate everybody for watching and have a good one.